welcome back. This is going to be our second meal off of our Costco chicken, and this one is kind of like a special meal, and no one will even realize that you've used your Costco chicken for part 2 of what to do with your leftover Costco chicken. So let's get going on that. So the first thing we're going to do is we've diced up a few onions, and this is probably equivalent to a medium-sized onion. I have about 2 tablespoons of butter heating up in the skillet right next to me. Now we're taking some of our Costco chicken, and all I'm doing is taking the skin off and placing it back in the bag for our next recipe. And we're going to thinly slice the thinly slice the chicken breast so that we can use it in that frying pan with that butter. And so the thin slices are really going to make this absolutely delicious. So we're just going to slice off enough for dinner for 2 tonight. And then I'm going to take that chicken and I'm going to lay it into the skillet once the butter is all melted. What we're going to do is just brown this chicken breast on both sides and just kind of heating it through and getting a nice little brown on both sides. Now once we get the chicken into the pan, we're just going to season it up a little bit with some salt and pepper. And remember, I'm measuring with love, so you can put in as much as you want or as little as you want. And we're just doing it to give it a little bit more flavor, okay? And it is smelling wonderful in here. Okay, now we're going to go in and we're just going to turn these over and just be real careful that it doesn't fall apart on you, because we want to try to keep these pieces whole. So as you can see, we're just getting a little bit of brown on that chicken, and that's exactly what we're looking for. There we go. Hey, if you guys are enjoying my recipes, please consider hitting that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And I would really appreciate it if you could leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you do with your leftover Costco chicken. Okay, so once we've gotten it heated all the way through and brown, we're going to take it out of the skillet and we're just going to place it on a plate to rest, because we're going to take and put this back in with our wonderful sauce that we're going to make next when it's all finished. Now I did cook the chicken on about a medium high, just enough where we get those pieces nice and brown. And if you don't have enough butter left in the pan, go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil in there. That's what I did, just so that you're going to get these onions browned up and nice and tender without burning them. So let's try hard not to burn those. So I did turn my pan down to a medium on the heat setting, just so we can get these browned up. Once those onions look like they're getting a nice little bit of color on it and they're nice and soft, we're going to take some mushrooms, and I have a large container, so I used about half of the mushrooms, and I just gave them a rough chop real quick. And you don't have to do that, you can leave them whole if you want to, but I just wanted them to be small enough so that they could be kind of bite-sized when we're finished. So we're going to give these onions another little stir, and then we're going to add those mushrooms into our pan. Now, if you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to add mushrooms at this point. You could use more onions, or you could even use like a red or a yellow bell pepper if you prefer. It's all about what you like and the taste that you enjoy with your chicken. So let's give those a stir, and we're going to let those start to cook down with the rest of the onions that are in there, and stir those around. The mushrooms do have a bit of moisture, which is great. It keeps everything from drying out. Now it's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes for those mushrooms to cook down, and make sure you give them a good stir. And once those are ready, then we're going to go in with about a tablespoon, or I'm sorry, I used a teaspoon of garlic. You can use fresh, I used already chopped. And then a teaspoon of the chicken better than bouillon. That's what I had, so that's what I used. If you have regular bouillon, you can certainly use that, or even just a little chicken broth, and give that a nice stir into your skillet. Get everything incorporated. Now the smells are just starting to come together and it smells absolutely delicious. Once everything's stirred in there and incorporated really well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put about 1.5 cups of water into my mix there. There we go. And just stir it around, give it a really, really good stir. There's the rest of the water. So I did use about 1.5 cups of water and stirred that around really well till it was nice and combined. This is really starting to smell good and it's coming together so well, and it's going to look like such a nice fancy dinner, like you spent hours making it, when really you just spent a matter of minutes. Now we're going to go in with some white wine, and I had some Moscato in the refrigerator and that's what I used. You can use any white wine. There you go. And if you don't like wine, then add a little extra broth. You don't need to use the wine if you don't choose to. And give it a good stir. I used about 1/4 cup of the wine. And like I said, if you don't want to use wine, use just a little bit of extra chicken broth. Okay, so now what I did was I stirred together 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and about 1/4 cup of water, maybe 1/3 cup of water. And I'm just stirring it in to our mixture here, just to give it a little bit of thickness. And you can decide what thickness that you like. I just wanted a little bit on there so that when I place the chicken back in, it's just going to simmer in our broth. Now we're going to just place our chicken back into our nice sauce that we've created, and we're going to let it simmer. And you can give it a taste at any time just to make sure that your flavors are right on and exactly what you want. And I'm just going to let these pieces of chicken simmer in this broth for probably about 5 minutes before I serve it. Now the whole house is smelling like some kind of special dinner. So we're just going to cover this and we're going to let it simmer. And I let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And then let's give it a good look and see how it looks. Oh man, it smells delicious. Look at that. And I think for me, that is a perfect thickness for this nice broth that we have. And we're going to serve this sauce over our chicken when we take it out. Now we're going to give it a nice test, and as you can see, my recording was not recording the audio portion of it, so we're just going to tell you how delicious it was. This is a nice bite. I'm just showing you, and I did serve it with some wonderful homemade mashed potatoes and some Brussels sprouts. Oh, let me tell you, that is absolutely delicious. And no one would even know that that is part of your Costco chicken that was left over. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a good thumbs up. Tell me what you think. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.